And hello, boys and girls, and welcome back to Dive Bullfrog 79, aka Old Uncle Al. Hi, boys and girls. And let's welcome people from Canada, Alaska, and the rest of the United States. Welcome, Ward. And a few people in Japan and North Korea. South Korea. Sorry about that. Okay, in part one, we covered a few basic off the grid power sources. Um, we're still doing a little bit about turbines. Okay, you have wind. Now I'm going to talk about water turbines. And if you like my channel, and if you like our videos, I think it made the light a little bit too bright. The low tech light filter. 1 second, boys and girls. There. That's a little better, a little softer, less glare. Okay. Water turbines. Just like wind turbines, they need a constant source of water to power the turbines. They do manufacture water turbines, but there's really a lot of problems with those. The water has to be ice-free, has to be gunk-free. There's no mud or silt or dead animals, tree branches, mudslides, you name it. It has to be clean water going at a rate where it could push the turbines to speed. If you have a clean system of water and you get a good rate of flow, it'll work and you have constant power for your batteries. Okay? That's what I didn't cover in part one, water turbines. Water turbines are popular on the East Coast where they have constant rain. If you have a drought, you don't have power. Okay? It has to be a constant source of water flow. That's why the early power plants were built near waterfalls and rivers and such, like in New York State. Niagara Falls is a good example of that. So a lot of people ask me the question, why do people think that going off grid is so easy? Well, again, it's a prepper fantasy. And we're doing part two, boys and girls, of prepper fantasy off grid power part two. Okay, if you remember, in the first part, bad drawings. Okay, we had the generator, the car, wind. Sometimes, okay, we have battery banks. Now, sometimes wind and water, it's mostly wind because it's more portable and you can put it up anywhere. And you don't need a river or stream to power your turbine. But all three of these, and another one, we've already talked about solar, they need a battery bank. Okay? Battery bank. And let's give out a big shout out to Bug Out Brad and Hupple's Cat, who keeps mentioning about solar. Okay, now Bug Out Brad, I know he has some work done in the field of electricity, so I can trust him. Hubble's Cat, I don't know. All right. Big problem, guys, is when you're dealing with off-grid power and you don't have a battery bank and you don't know how to do it, how to run one, you're in big trouble. Battery banks are designed to store power. With no wind, constant wind, or sunshine, solar radiation, or generator, which is on, you don't get power to your system. So what do you need? You need a battery bank to store this power. And then you bleed off of that. And it's good for up to 12 hours. And this part is the fun part on battery banks. Let me switch gears. Yeah. With battery banks, we got to think of the U.S. Navy or any kind of Navy for battery banks. Okay? So let's kill the sub noise. Okay, now you can hear me fairly clearly. Battery banks, a lot of submarines, fishing boats, and destroyers, any kind of ship. You have a generator, which is diesel, provides power. Also, it charges the batteries of the boat. In World War II, a lot of the undersea boat, U-boat, uses batteries to run the craft underwater. You can't use a diesel engine underwater. The Germans tried really hard to do that and didn't work out too well. Now, let me get a drink. Frog in the throat still. Okay. Now, a lot of people misunderstand that without battery power, you can't run a U-boat. Well, that's true. But we also invented diesel electrics. We have developed diesel engine to produce uh, direct electric power. That's why you see diesel electric trains all over the country. You have a big diesel engine that runs a electric generator, which provides efficient power than a regular mechanical engine. And a lot of people forget about that. So we're back with the sailor hat, and we're studying about battery banks, boys and girls. They're only good for 12 hours, then it needs to be charged again. I try to express this more often. You cannot use car batteries or truck batteries. Too many people got hurt by hooking up 20 or 30 of them, thinking they could get a permanent source of rechargeable power. End up they have like a weird Frankenstein mix of high explosives, toxic waste, chemicals, gases. Ideally, what you want is a gel type battery deep cycle used on fishing boats. And those are expensive and fairly heavy, even the small ones. Smallest ones I've seen for deep cycle is about 500 pounds. Let's see you change that out of your car. And it's designed for a fishing boat or a small submarine. The big submarines, like the nuclear ones, still use batteries as backup power, and they have battery banks. But the trouble is, these are huge batteries. We need a forklift to pull them out and replace them. Two, they're deep cycle. They have a slow cyclic rate. Three, with battery banks, you need a whole set of controls, fuses, power charge control, and inverter. The inverter is used to from AC to DC and DC to AC back again. Goes both ways. People forget about this when they have a solar roof on their heads. That produces DC direct. So don't climb up there and like, yeah, do with a screwdriver. You go, fall down. Okay? So basically what you want to do is have a good battery bank setup. And Tesla has offered refurnished their car batteries to do this. It's a sealed gel system that's deep cycle, and it works fine. Unfortunately, it's going to cost you a little bit. But if you have a bank of them, it works fine. It works great for the house. The most expensive part of it is the control unit. Everything I mentioned before, the inverter, fuses, charge control, control panel for power going in, power charging the batteries, power going out, all that's going to cost you about 10 grand. And that's what a lot of people didn't tell you like this. And a lot of people who like, oh, we're going to our survivalist fantasy or unicorn prepper. We're going to live off solar all the time. Solar this, solar that, solar everywhere, solar, solar, solar. Well, in reality, you think this hat's funny? Well, go look at their faces when they realize that most solar systems are really hard controlled. And if you don't have that $10,000 panel, and you know what you're doing with solar. And when the big one hits, you're going to be out in the boonies. Okay, now remember, a lot of unicorn preppers, a lot of people that I got a college education, I'm a doctorate. They don't know real life facts, okay? If you don't have that control panel set up, that's 10 grand. Fuses, switches, circuit breakers, you name it. That controls the whole power going in and out. All right. And you got to also understand, I forgot to mention this. Sorry, frog in the throat. Mention this. This is going to be a little bit longer. I got about maybe 2 more minutes or 3 more minutes. You've got to keep the panels clean, free from snow. If you have an inch of snow, you're not going to get power. If you have dust on them, you're not going to get pure power. You're going to probably get 40%. And then it gets worse on and on. So you got to keep your panels clean. And Hubble Snow says, well, I'll take the shovel, and I'll push out the snow. Okay, the panels are delicate. So you can't take any broom or shovel to knock off the snow. Okay? And 2, you can't take a mop, go up there and mop them down. They have to be cleaned properly. And here where I live, they have 2 service companies that does it. Unfortunately, if it's an end of the world or off the grid matter, you're screwed. Right? There's no service company coming out and taking care of your solar panels. So you better know what you're doing. Okay? Sorry. Fog in my throat. So you got your systems all set up for electrical power, and it's working, and it's off the grid and stuff, and you got your control panel and box. Now, I got one more maybe video on the subject, and I'll cover that in my next one. And you have a nice day, boys and girls. Please like and subscribe to my channel. And I hope you understand this. There's a lot of books and a lot of material you have to read before you do solar and understand how it's working in the system. Alrighty. You have a nice night.